remains unchanged from the week before. Economists were also expecting 370,000. Eric Bolling joins us right now on the Curvy Couch, as he always does. Well, what do you think?
Right at expectation, again, elevated above 350 is elevated. You want to see it below. What I'm waiting to hear, and I have to see it, I haven't paged through the number yet, but what is the revision for the week? For the last 18, 19, maybe even 20 weeks, in a row, Steve, consecutively, the number is revised the following week. So in other words, we see 370. Next week, are we going to see 375, 375?
Why?
Remember,
Why is it revised?
The headline number is what we see. The revision is the actual number of people walking in. They know for a fact that's how many people walked in. So if the headline number is always revised up, that means we're seeing a better picture than what the reality is. So we're pushing 20 weeks in a row of upward revision. Somewhere around 100,000 people actually walked into the office that haven't been released on headline days, and no one really talks about revisions are an important thing to keep your eye on.
Because, this was a Fox News alert. We just said the number is 370, and then when they come out with a new number, that's on page 19 of your newspaper.
Right, or not at all. And why always revised up? How is it that, somewhere around 20 weeks or so, they've all been revised up without a downward revision? I think they're just erring on the low side. I think the CBO, I've said it here and you catch a lot of heat for it, may be becoming a little bit partisan. And the Department of Labor may be becoming a little bit partisan and err on the low side to make things look a little bit better for the economy.
Speaking of the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, they have a new report out that says a fiscal cliff looms for the U.S. economy, specifically attached, though, to the Bush-era tax cuts that will not be in effect come January anymore. What do you make of that?
Right. December 31st. The fiscal cliff is a term that they're talking about. It's when, at the end of the year, if Congress doesn't act, there are a whole slew of tax and spending initiatives that are going to go in place January 1st, 2013. They call it the fiscal cliff because they're so dramatic. The CBO, the nonpartisan CBO, says that will probably put the U.S. economy back into recession again. It'll put it right back to either zero growth or negative growth, which would be recession. Bush tax cuts, expiration of that 2% payroll tax. And there's a list of 4 or 5. The sequester, there's somewhere around $90 billion for 2013 alone, sequestered. There's spending cuts on defense and social programs. The problem is that would probably push us back into recession. The other problem is if you don't do it, then what do you have? You have more of the same, more debt and deficit expansion. The CBO says put it off a year and you may save the economy from going into recession and maybe grow your way out of it. Remember, spending cuts, higher taxes, and then the third leg of the stool has to be economic growth. If we're going to get out of this $16 trillion debt, national debt problem, we have to grow our way out.
All right, Eric, we'll see you on the 5.